Alright folks, another park, another video. This one is my 3-day adventure at Kansas Rocks Recreation Park. KRRP doesn't look that big at first blush, but we spent 3 days here managing to cover about 90% of the trails. If you've watched me before, you know I'm a bit of a planner. Day 1 was Core Roads and Rattlesnake Alley. Day 2 was the western side was C2. And Day 3 was mopping up trails we missed or needed to double back and other stuff on. Even after hitting all these trails, I'd totally go back to them all again. Great park, great location, and great owners and employees. Apart from some of the buggy lines linking off the Core Road and Carnage Canyon, our rigs handled nearly the entire park pretty darn well. It was challenging at some points between the kind of rock that's on the hills here, but there was also some damp, slippery leaves at this time of year. So I'm definitely not a clickbait kind of guy. Well, not really. But so each Jeep did roll out mostly under their own power, but only 3 of the 7 made it out unscathed. Was it the park that did them in? Some yes, some were just the luck of the Jeep, just waiting for our next breakdown. We do wheel these suckers, so it is kind of expected. As I mentioned before, Day 1 was Core Roads and getting a feel for the park. So when you leave the guardhouse, the Core Roads are what you'd expect, but soon they start getting rocky and not what you expect. Nothing technical, but sure better than riding on Class 5 all day. Our first trails were at the northeast end of the park, the Tacandas Hill area on Trail 113. We went up and around the back, but unfortunately this is where our first Jeep left us, not the park, an unfortunate gear strip in the front diff. The gray 2-door, out for the count. Then there were 6. Back to the northeast corner, we worked our way back up and down the hill there. You can see the leaves are coming down, an added constant obstacle as they slipped and slid over the rocks. Although, the rocks here are really interesting. It's a rock that kind of fractures easily, so your line is never the same way twice. Popping out to the Core Road and back in again through some mud, we hit Bear Tracks, the one black trail up in the corner. It must have had some erosion on it, though. Other than some off-camber humps, there wasn't much to it. Still fun, though. Heading south out of that area, we continued along the East Core Road, passing by the one-way exit from C2. More on that later. Snaking our way down to Rattlesnake Alley. See what I did there? Coming around the bottom of 173, you make it up to the old barn up on top of the hill. You'll see signs not to venture too far, as Rattlesnake Alley didn't just get its name randomly. Rattlesnake Alley is rated blue or intermediate on the map, and I'd agree with that. Some ups and downs, backs and forths, no major obstacles or any climbs we saw. Oddly, the hardest thing actually was trying to stay on the trail. It weaves in and out of a few other trails, and the signs on the trees that indicate Badge of Honor Trail are really small and honestly aren't really that helpful. Near the end of Rattlesnake Alley, we found ourselves in the middle of the map and just started hitting some hill trails. You saw Gilligan there just a minute ago. Well, it was early November and the day was pretty short and sun was going down, so we started heading back to the Core Roads and found a little fun here on 22 before the guardhouse. Ho ho! Day 2 start. We started out going back down to the southwest corner to explore.
The project manager and navigate us through stuff.
Starting with Trail 2, headed to Trail 11, Big Dump, and all the blue-black trails down there. Taking a right off Big Dump, we headed on Trail 6, Brush Danger, another intermediate blue trail looping at the far southwest corner of the park. Some ups, some downs, like this you see some little nice twists and turns. However, I almost cringe to show you the next part. Even the easiest looking things can bugger you sometimes in this park. In my defense, this was in the shade, it had rained, and there was a puddle of water and mud at the bottom with all the leaves here too. Perfect placement of rocks and steps. That just absolutely buggered me for about 5 minutes. Let's go a little more passenger. Yeah. Nope. Oop, tree. Alright, back to the driver's side. Let's try this. A little more gas. There we go. Jesus, okay. Alright, our next destination was C2, so we're making our way along Trail 4 down to Trail 1 to make the cut over to different trails paralleling Rattlesnake Alley from yesterday. Yeah, that was a frame hit. I misjudged another ledge. Ouch. More twisty-turnies through the connector between the west and the east sides, and we finally now get to C2. C2 itself isn't a very long trail. If it's a quarter mile, I'd be surprised. However, there are at least 12 black trails that shoot up and down the sides of it. Those look fun. Most of them, though, are for buggies or rigs that are built up a little more than ours, but they're fun to look at and debate if we should try them or not. Again, I had a blast at this park, and I highly recommend it for anyone looking to crawl a park for a few days in the Midwest and check off some badges at the same time. Now, trails do change based on season, precipitation, and just natural wear and tear from vehicles traffic, The first 3/4 of C2 for us was more or less just a dirt trail, but the last quarter of it, like here, had some really good rocks and some good off-camber time in here. If you had a bigger rig and played around in here on the black side trails, some of those puppies had 4 to 6 foot ledges. Again, nothing our rigs could really safely handle in here, but if you had a rig that could do that, you could absolutely spend a half a day or more in this section here. For us, it was just a quick in and out. We spun around on 131, a green beginner trail, and checked out the tops of the black trails on the north side of C2, like Doug's Dive, Winter, and Chicken Dinner, to see if there was one we could go down instead of up, even though those ledges were pretty sketchy for us. So, we chose life. We cleared most of the trails on the southwest side at this point, so we set out to tackle Gina's Giggle Gulch. Yes, my mind is 12, and yes, I giggled profusely. We left the C2 area and cut across trails 130, 142, and up here on Black Trail 145 to skirt the upper ridge to the west above Rattlesnake Alley, Heartbreak Ridge. The trails were pretty slow going up here, full of rocks and tight turns and stuff between the trees, but we ended up cutting down 148 to Heartbreak Ridge and then hit the core road where we came in on Trail 32 from the south. Coming into Gina's Giggle Gulch, it didn't look too crazy. The entire area is made up of 7 to 8 black trails with no individual designations on the map at all. There are signs on the trees, however. So here we headed north down ABW and then took a right at the bottom of the hill to come up the other side of the gulch. This climb was pretty fun, and looking across the options we had down there, this one seemed kind of intermediate. So we threw some rocks heading up, but at the top was a ledge on the driver's side that was in the middle of a sharp left turn. A little challenging, took a few bumps, but we all made it up. Too far driver would dump you over, and there was a steep hill on the passenger side, so we had to kind of scoot things around a little to make the bump up the ledge.
Like that. Nice ability on it. Thank you.
Just down the core road between the gulch and the guard station, there's a nice little picnic pavilion that we stopped at for lunch and just general trail shenanigans. After lunch, we had only the afternoon today and then tomorrow morning left before heading home, so we headed back to the west side to tackle the Labyrinth area, working our way north to Rocky Ridge. So here we headed into the Labyrinth area again and worked our way back to Trail 24, planning on taking that north to Rocky Ridge, but as good trail days go, we got a little distracted and then my OCD kicked in to complete as many unique trails as we could. Stupid completionist thing. Here we go, here on Pathfinder. So we connected on Trail 24, headed north. We headed into 30 and then into 27, realizing we're heading kind of in the wrong direction. We popped out on the core road and went back into the Labyrinth area on Trail 28. Here we go, heading back into Labyrinth area on Trail 28. We ended up heading through 29, and then we caught 36 to 27, and ended up taking the backside of Rocky Ridge on the far west side of that area on Trail 38, Mike's Malice. See that orange sign up there in the distance? There were quite a few signs like this throughout the park. These were areas that were adopted by local clubs. What an awesome way to involve your club and provide a benefit for others in the area. Sweet. I wish Minnesota had more opportunities like that. A quick run up Mike's Malice, and then we turn our way back down here, get down to the Coal Road again to find our next batch of trails. Once we got back down to the Coal Road, we hung a right and then ended up heading across into the Timber Hill area to start checking off trails such as Trail 50, crapshoot here. Getting to the top of Timber Hill, it's pretty wide open up there. We cut across Trail 15, Canary, and then cut north again to hit Trail 60, which was Twisted, which is this one right here. Going north again at the bottom, we came back up on 59, Ruff's Ride, to clear the trails in the Turkey Hill area. There's just so many great trails on the west side. I'll skip over the other hours of video and let you see all that stuff for yourself when you go. However, I did try to be fancy and crashed through some mud, and it got me stuck good. After a lot of deserved ribbing, my group did pull me backwards out and I did make it up the hill. And that was day 2. We only had a little left to do for day 3, mostly easy trails and a few favorites we wanted to run again. However, if you're going to Kansas Rocks, do yourself a favor and go here to Brick Street in Fort Scott for dinner. Awesome food. Their staff is amazing. Their pretzels were so delicious and huge. We actually went back the last night just to get more pretzels. On the last morning, we focused on mopping up some fun trails and some last black trails on hills up and down by Rattlesnake Alley. This last one here was super slippery, and I have a little feather in my cap as I was the only one that made it up. For my troubles, a nice little chunk taken out of my rain channel at my hardtop, but oh well.
There you go, perfect. I said stop. Hey, look at that mirror there for you.
I saw it. I actually used it.
Put it on this side.
Let's see how bad I dented the door on that one.
I don't think you hit the door.
All right.
Yay!
Well, that's Kansas Rocks Recreation Park. Totally recommended, totally a fun time, very affordable for a long weekend, and even on Veterans Day weekend, the park definitely had traffic, but it didn't feel crowded at all. I hope this video has helped. Oh, wait, I can't leave you hanging like that. What happened to the other Jeeps, you say? I can't leave that kind of tease hanging and not deliver. Well, all 4 got out under their own power, 2 couldn't continue, 1 was left without a front locker. All good. Personally counting my lucky stars, I made it out unscathed. Alright, back to closing this out. Thank you all again for watching my video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Tell me what you thought, or more, what you want to see about Kansas Rocks in the comments. I got a whole bunch more video, and then share this link with your friends and clubs. See you on the next one.